Hi, I'm Jerry Lipkin. At Valley National Bank, we believe consumers need help understanding the complex banking and financial issues affecting their lives. That's why we're proud to support the programming produced by the Caucus Educational Corporation.
Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by Valley National Bank, Hackensack Meridian Health, NJIT, New Jersey Institute of Technology, MD Advantage Insurance Company of New Jersey, the Russell Berry Foundation, ShopRite Supermarkets, and by Suez, ready for the resource revolution. Promotional support provided by Commerce Magazine and by New Jersey Monthly, the magazine of the Garden State, available at newsstands.
This is One-on-One. I'm an equal American just like you are.
The jobs of tomorrow are not the jobs of yesterday.
Look at this. You got this?
Here it is, man. Look at that.
Life without dance is boring.
When you first heard that they were doing Charlie Rose and Gayle King, didn't you go, what?
Do you enjoy talking politics?
No. People call me because they feel nobody's paying attention.
Our culture, I don't think, has ever been tested the way it's being tested right now.
Such a good question. High five.
Hi, Steve Adubato here in beautiful New Providence, New Jersey, with my colleague from Public Broadcasting, Joanna Gagis. Joanna, now we're not just hanging out in the street here. Who's behind us and why are they here?
This is the New Jersey Sharing Network's 5K walk. It's the 6th year. Behind us, there are hundreds of people lined up. And we're going to talk in this next half hour to just a handful of those folks whose lives have been touched by organ and tissue donation. You've spoken to some already, Steve.
Yeah, the Sharing Network is an amazing organization. The headquarters is here, but we're talking to people who have given the gift of life, people who have lost family members as young as 2, 15, 22, a little bit older, who decided to give the gift of life. So those people who have given their organs to others who are in this race, who received organs, those families are coming together sometimes for the first time today, walking, running together. It is an extraordinary thing, and we're here to promote, educate about organ and tissue donation.
It's true, and Steve, I heard something powerful today, and it said, you know, organ donation is not a tragedy, but it's a bright light in the middle of a tragedy. And that's what the people here today remember.
Yeah, don't forget, bottom line is we're not here to promote too much, but to say there are 5,000 people just waiting in New Jersey for an organ. There are hundreds of thousands across this nation. So as you listen to the people today, as you watch and learn, more importantly, we hope you're inspired by the Sharing Network's 5K event and the people who are making a difference and, frankly, giving the gift of life. We're here at the New Jersey Sharing Network 5K. I'll tell you what, this is a big day. We're here with Elisse Glennon of the Sharing Network, one of the leaders of the organization. Tell us what today is. We came over here because there's so much activity, there's so much sound, there's a band playing, there are thousands of people gathering. Elisse, what is today? Why is it so special?
Today's the 5K celebration of life. It is so special. We have families of organ donors, families of tissue donors, the recipients of those beautiful gifts, all gathered together to celebrate life.
It's interesting, you talk about a gift, you know, and the term gift of life is used a lot. But we're about to talk to people. I mean, I was looking through some of the producing notes. I mean, you look at something on paper and it says, someone lost a 2-year-old child, someone lost a 15-year-old, someone lost a sibling who's 25. And that person, either the parent or the person, him or herself, decided to give his or her organs and or tissues to save 3 lives, 5 lives, 7 lives. What does that really mean?
You know what, we have this phrase we say that in their final hour, they gave the greatest gift. It's so selfless, thinking about the future of other people's lives and not allowing their own death or their loved one's death to be in vain, to give that some meaning and purpose in the most tragic time of their lives. And their loved one's legacy just continues to live on. And I have to say, we've met hundreds and thousands of recipients, and they truly honor that gift. They live their life to the absolute fullest, and they really thank those donors every single day for that.
Yeah. And today, folks, we are going to talk to those donor families. We're going to talk to the recipient families. We're going to talk to the recipients themselves. In some cases, you can help me if I'm wrong on this, we're going to be talking to recipients of organs who are meeting almost for the first time, or at least walking together and being together for the first time with the people, the families of people who gave them life.
Yeah, yes, you're absolutely right. We have several instances like that today. It's really amazing. One of the things we do at the Sharing Network is we do continued aftercare for both the donor families and the recipients.
Why aftercare?
And many times after the gift is made, we continue to work with the families, to support the families, to continue to support the legacy that their loved one left. And many times the family and or the recipient wants to meet the other party. And when both want to meet, we have a whole team who coordinates those days, those beautiful meetings.
What's it like?
It's emotional. It's raw, really raw, and really beautiful. You would think that the recipient is the one who says thank you to the donor family, and they do, and they are incredibly grateful. But the most powerful moment is when the donor family says to the recipient, thank you for allowing my loved one to live on. Thank you for living such a beautiful life. And those are the moments that give us all chills. We could watch it time and time again. And it's just beautiful every single time. And so what happens many times is that those families stay connected. They become a new family. And then they take this opportunity at the celebration of life to come together, to walk together, to celebrate together for a shared purpose.
So progress is being made in terms of more people deciding that they will be donors, but more work needs to be done.
Yes. In New Jersey, we're finding that in the last few years, New Jerseyans have become more and more generous. Clinical practice has gotten even better. And last year, we had a 37% increase in the number of organs transplanted. That number's 531 people got transplanted in New Jersey last year. There are 5,000 people, however, on the waiting list.
There are 5,000 people right now waiting.
In New Jersey, there are 5,000 people waiting and 120,000 nationally. So we really urge everyone to consider organ donation.
How do they do it? Say they go on your website right now. We'll put it up. What do they do?
Yes, if they go to our website, either on their mobile phone or on their laptop, they could just hit register to be an organ donor, and in 60 seconds they'll be themselves registered. They will register that great gift. We also encourage you to speak with your family. It's really important to speak with your family. You want your family to know your wishes, because if they're ever put in that situation, it gives them great comfort to know what you wanted to do. So please register to be a donor on our website and speak with your family.
I ask you this question every time I talk to you. My last question is this. Why do you do it? Why do you do this?
This is the most meaningful job I think somebody can have. I always say it's an honor and privilege to work here, work with our 150 staff members, highly trained expert clinical teams, the lab teams, and then to work with our 600 volunteers who
a lot here today.
A lot here today, right. A lot of, all of whom work day in and day out to just spread this message. And it's just an honor to do this work for them and with them.
We are honored to be talking with one of the participants today. He has a team. He'll tell you about his team, but his story is very compelling. He is Robert Noble, and his son, David, saved an awful lot of lives, has made a huge difference. Talk about your son and talk about why you're here today.
My son, David, was a wonderful 22-year-old. I don't remember the exact moment, but him and I were walking together, and he told me that he wanted to be an organ donor. I was very proud of his decision. And then a couple years later, he passed. And what was nice is the decision was made, and he was able to save 4 lives, 2 kidneys, a liver, and heart. So I'm honored, and I'm happy for the recipients, and like I said, he has made me so proud.
A lot of parents watching right now they have empathy, they have compassion, they're trying to wrap their heads around this, but they say to themselves, I couldn't do it. But do they need to do it?
They absolutely need to do it, and I think that people need to be more aware of the organization, the
Sharing Network.
Sharing Network, and the decision needs to be made early so that this way, when you are in a tragic situation and you can't make decisions, the decision is already made. So all I did was kind of follow something that was already decided, and I felt really good about it. So,
tell us about your son. What kind of young man was he?
He was, like I said, very good and giving. He was a wrestler, enjoyed friends. One thing about him is he would give you the shirt off his back, and he ultimately did do that, but just a great kid. He really was.
How did this subject even come up, though, Robert? I mean, how does it come up where your son starts saying, Dad, I'd like to talk to you about the possibility of donating my organs, my tissue, and giving if, in fact, something happens? He was such a young man.
Yeah, I don't really know. I know that I chose to be a donor in the 80s.
Did you tell him that?
We may have had a discussion. I just thought it was a really great idea, and I would say that we hadn't had the discussion a long time, 20 years. And then he approached me. And like I said, it was an amazing, very honorable and proud moment for me. I almost broke into tears when we were speaking about it. And like I said, I'm honored to have called him son.
And the name of the team today is?
Obi-Wan Dave Nobi. When the first set of the trilogy for Star Wars came out, he was a fan of it. And I don't know, he was little and it just stuck. So we thought it would kind of be appropriate. Star Wars is back out again, and it's kind of a fun name for a fun event.
Who's on the team?
He's got his brother, Matt, his mother, his stepmother, Chris, stepdaughters and stepsisters, and a whole bunch of nieces and aunts and uncles and friends. So.
What do you think it's going to be like for you out there today? First of all, by the way, we're inside the sharing network because it's pouring outside, but it hasn't, as I said before, dampened the spirits of the thousands of people who've gathered here in New Providence for this walk, the 5K walk. I mean, they're here, they're walking, rain or shine, they're part of it. You have any sense of what you're going to be thinking and feeling?
Well, it's with heavy heart. There's moments where, I'm still... he passed under a year ago, and so there's moments where I feel like I'm going to start to cry. I see other folks and families that are going through the same thing. You share stories, and that kind of helps support you through it, but it's hard. It's very hard.
Your final message to everyone watching and listening right now.
It's a great organization, and I think that hopefully people that are watching this will go home and just talk to their teenagers and some of the adults and realize that you can save a life just by making a decision. And then again, when this tragic situation occurs, it just makes it so much easier for the family because all they do is follow their wishes.
Well, and thank you for what your son has done for so many others.
Thank you.
This is Dan Weiniger, who is here with us at the New Jersey Sharing Network. Dan is waiting for a heart transplant. Dan, first of all, talk about your heart condition and the bag that you have with you right now.
Sure. About a year ago, I got a second heart attack with heart failure, and when I got to the hospital, they told me 80% of my heart was gone. There was no place to bypass to. So they also told me there were no drugs, there was no stenting they could do. So eventually, it was a nice list of things they couldn't do, but they finally came in and told me something they could do, and that's an LVAD, a left ventricle assist device. So this device goes into my body, and the blood goes into my right side of my heart, then goes into the pump, which is located inside me, and then it goes into my aorta, and it pumps my heart for me, basically. So these are batteries and a controller I wear 24/7. It keeps me alive. Some people use this as a destination where they stay on this for the rest of their lives. Some people use it as a bridge to heart transplant, which is what I'm doing.
It's incredible that they have the capability to keep you alive through the circumstance that you went through. Describe your health and what it's like for you every day, walking, being physically active.
Basically, the only thing I can't do is swim and maybe a handstand. But besides that, I am very active. I feel that I'm just as healthy as I was before my heart attack. I love life. I find that heart failure has been a blessing because I've met so many great people, learned about events like this and what's going on in the world. I've gotten to speak to people, go visit other people in the hospital that are facing the same thing I have. So it's really been, my wife thinks I'm crazy, but I think heart failure has been a real blessing in my life. So.
Wow, you are a glass half full kind of guy. I love that. How did you connect with the New Jersey Sharing Network through this experience?
Well, I told my Heart Success team in Morristown that I wanted to get more involved. I was looking for some way to do it, and they had suggested the New Jersey Sharing Network. So I had never heard of it before. It's such a wonderful organization, and they turned me on to it, and I've loved it. I've trained with them to speak at high schools. I'm speaking this week at a Rotary Club, so I'm really enjoying it.
You're waiting right now for a heart. That does not mean in any way that you are hoping that something tragic happens to somebody, right? But what are you hoping for?
I am not. And I know there's a lot of people sicker than I am that are in the hospital, but if unfortunate circumstances do happen to somebody and they are willing to give that gift of life to me, I know I'll appreciate it for the rest of my life.
We're here with one of the partners of the Sharing Network, one of the folks who helps make it happen. John Bruens is with Bridge to Life. He's the Chief Commercial and Business Development Officer. Talk to us about why your organization is connected to this terrific 5K event.
Well, Bridge to Life is exclusively dedicated to the world of organ transplant. It's all we do. And when you do something like that, you immediately realize the people that are involved in this market, involved in this situation, are by far the most dedicated people you'll ever meet. I mean, here we are on a Sunday morning in the rain, and there are an unlimited number of volunteers and thousands of people to come. It's a very unique world, and Bridge to Life realized very early that the future of organ transplant is dependent upon regular people committing to donating their organs when that time comes.
The biggest misconception about organ and tissue donation is
that it's something you don't think about, that it's something you don't actually think about until you have to. And when you have to, it's all you'll think about. It's important for people to think about organ donation when they don't have to think about it, when it's not impacting their life. So
Devil's advocate, why would I want to think about that if it's not, someone says it's morbid, you say?
It will eventually touch your life. If it hasn't yet, it will, and it will at a time when you least expect it, whether it's your grandchild, your parents, your sister, your brother, your best friend. You'll never know when it happens. But when it does, it'll be all you think about. It's best to think about it before it happens.
And the benefit of doing it then?
You can go your whole life. In the United States, we really do think about our heroes, our military, our police, our EMS, firemen, and rightfully so. But when you come to a building like this and speak to the people that work at New Jersey Organ Sharing and the people that dedicate their time to volunteer here, they're heroes. The families and the people that you've interviewed prior to this who have lost children and loved ones, they're heroes. And
by the way, excuse me for interrupting. These butterflies, the names of the people on these butterflies at the Sharing Network here in New Providence, they're heroes.
So you may live your whole life and never get a chance to save someone else's life, which is by far the greatest thing a person could ever do, is to save someone you don't even know. So being an organ donor, you get to do that. You may get to do it to 8 people. You may be able to save a little kid before Christmas. Who knows? The stories are endless. If you have that opportunity, take it. Don't ignore it. Don't wait. Don't think it's never going to touch me. It will. So become an organ donor, become a supporter, be a sponsor, do everything.
To see more one-on-one with Steve Adubato programs, visit us online at steveadubato.org. If you would like to express an opinion, email us at info@caucusnj.org. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Steve Adubato PhD and follow us on Twitter at Steve Adubato.
We're here at the New Jersey Sharing Network 5K event. You see the runners behind you. They're on the tail end of a great race. They're raising a lot of money for a great organization. Let me introduce some special friends. We have Dorothea Duffy, who's been with us 3 times on public broadcasting. She's got a great story, and she's connected to the young lady right next to her, Susan Diamond. And your young son next to you, the shot down there, you can get him. He is?
Jake.
That's Jake. And you're wearing a button all about Angel Ben, and Ben is connected to you. Talk to us about this. You have had a kidney transplant. It was in 2014. You've been with us a few times. Your life has been saved. Connect yourself to Angel Ben.
Okay, well, through the love and amazing compassion, Susan and her family, at a very tough time in their life, decided to donate their son Ben's organs, and I was the fortunate recipient of getting his kidneys. Ben was only 2 years old, and
Both of Ben's kidneys.
because they were small, that is not an unusual thing for an adult to receive both kidneys. And so I did, and they grow to full size. And through a little back and forth communication with a third-party organization in Philadelphia where the transplant took place, Susan and I were finally able to meet on April 29th. And it just was a most amazing experience. And we'll be family forever now.
Describe that, getting together.
Indescribable. It was nothing you could ever plan on or expect, and the wave of emotion is just absolutely incredible. And it was one of the most memorable days of our lives, that's for sure. And you meet this person, and we will be family forever from this point forward.
But the thing is, you've been with us several times, and just seeing you, first of all, you look extraordinary. You look great, you look healthy, and we're so happy for you. But the idea of Ben, who was 2, people are right now watching, listening, seeing it on digital platforms as well, are saying, 2. How did you do that as a mom?
Well, for us, we knew we had transferred Ben for a second opinion to CHOP. And as soon as we arrived in CHOP...
The Children's Hospital down in Philadelphia.
Yes, Children's Hospital, Philadelphia. We knew within an hour that he wasn't going to survive, and we had him on life support. And when we knew that he wasn't going to survive, the Gift of Life, who is the network of Donate Life in Philadelphia, they approached us. And Ben's father and I said, that's it. That we knew it wasn't even a decision for us, because we knew at that moment that's what Ben's life was supposed to be. And it wasn't even a question for us. And Ben's kidneys, we donated his kidneys and some cardiothoracic tissue. But the kidneys were the only thing that his only organ that we could donate. And we waited for his kidneys to be matched with Dorothea. And then when the match was made, then we removed him from life support.
What are you feeling today, right now, in this moment?
I'm very excited. I'm very joyful that Susan could be here, as well as her mom and her sister, and Jake, of course. And I just feel like I've come full circle, especially with you and New Jersey Sharing Network and my life. We started out talking about me waiting for a kidney, you and I.
Remember, the first time on, Dorothea, sorry for interrupting, Dorothea was on with us. She was in a panel discussion on our sister program, Caucus, New Jersey, and she was saying, I'm waiting, I'm praying, and we're all praying with her, and we come full circle to be here today with Ben's kidneys growing in you, and you're here.
Yes, and then our next time we met was after you found out I had the transplant, and now the full circle is that I met my donor family, my donor mom and dad and brother, and I got to thank them in person.
You have another family now?
Yes, I do.
Do you have another family now?
I absolutely do.
Finally, the message to everyone watching right now who says, I don't think I can do it, or I don't know if I can do it.
Well, look at us. You know, I put myself on the transplant list. Some people are reluctant to do that. Susan was willing to make that decision. It wasn't a decision that an adult would make, because this was a little boy. So I say, you can change someone's life. And you don't just change the life of the person who you save, you change their whole family. And you give the gift of life to everybody, their friends, their family, everybody they know.
Thank you for everything you've done for us. And I don't even know how everyone can thank you. What do you want to say to everyone watching right now?
I want to say that Ben, at 2 years old, has inspired so many people. And I will get messages constantly from friends and friends of friends who have said because of Ben, they've become organ donors, that we've taken the fear out of it, and that the way that we can live our lives now, dedicated to Ben, dedicated to Dorothea, and to all the causes behind organ donation, and for brain trauma and injury, which is what Ben had passed away from, it's a new life, and it's made this adventure not about Ben's death, but about his life. And I think that that's the most important message, is that it just does give hope, and it's all about love. It's all about love, even for perfect strangers. I mean, it really is. And that's an incredible, incredible thing to carry as a mother and as a brother and as a family. It really is. And it's just, especially knowing how your child can change the world is the most proud a parent can be. And that is me.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
One on One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this edition of One on One with Steve Adubato has been provided by Valley National Bank, Hackensack Meridian Health, NJIT, MD Advantage Insurance Company of New Jersey, the Russell Berry Foundation, ShopRite Supermarkets, and by Suez. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area.
I think at NJIT there are a lot of smart students.
I came to NJIT for mechanical engineering because within state it's one of probably the top 3 schools for engineering.
It sort of creates a friendly competition where you can learn from them.
It's a great academic school.
I feel I'm being challenged, but at the same time I love the classes I'm taking.
The atmosphere of being here is like being at an upstart company. It's that same kind of drive, that same kind of passion.